Good morning, sixth grade. Hopefully, everybody had a great long weekend and had a chance to relax and enjoy yourself. Today, what we're going to be doing is starting now on chapter 12. We're going to start with chapter 12, lesson 1, circles and circumference. So let's figure out where those notes are at. You're in your Google Classroom. Go over here to classwork, scroll down here to chapter 12. And as you see here are the completed notes for 12-1. So let's see what we have here today. We've got ourselves 12-1, circles and circumference. Now, basically, as you know, what we're going to be dealing with here are circles, and we're going to be dealing with circumference. Circumference is another name for the perimeter, except when we're dealing with a circle, we use the word circumference. If we're dealing with a square, a rectangle, a triangle, all those other different types of shapes, we call that the perimeter, which is the measurement all the way around the shape. Well, when we're dealing with the circumference, we're dealing with the measurement all the way around the circle itself. So let's take a look here and let's look at the different pieces of a circle that you need to know. So it says a circle is a set of all points in a plane that are the same distance from a given point in a plane. Now, basically what we're saying here is this, is if you take a look here, we have our center, okay, this in red. Here's our center point right here. That's our center. That's our given point. So no matter what point I put on this circle, okay, no matter where I put another point along the edge of the circle, the measurement from the center point to that point on the edge of the circle is going to be the same, the distance. So whether it's from that center point to that, or the center point here to this edge here, it does not matter. Those will be the same, the distances. So let's look and see what else we have here. The distance from the center to any point on the circle is called the radius. So if we go from the center to an edge, that distance there, this line here, right here, is known as the radius, okay? Now, if the distance across the circle through the center is known as the diameter. So if I take a point here, right here on this edge, and I take that point and I go through the center, here's our center here, and all the way across to the other edge, this is the diameter. Okay, this is this line here, this long line going all the way across from one edge point through the center to the other edge point, making a straight line, is known as the diameter. And the distance around the circle, that's this dotted line going all the way around the circle here, is known as the circumference. Okay, so let's look at some other key things here. So if you want to figure out what the radius is, okay, and you know what the diameter, if the diameter here equal 12, okay, it was 12. The diameter equal 12. If you want to figure out what the radius is, your radius is equal to the diameter divided by 2, okay? So this would mean if the diameter is 12, the radius would be 6 because half of 12 is 6, okay? Well, let me ask you this. What if the radius was 8? What would the diameter be? Well, we just go backwards. If the radius is 8, the diameter in order to figure out what that is, we have to multiply the radius times 2. So that means if the radius is 8, the diameter is 16. We just doubled what the radius is. Okay, now what else we need to know here is what is the formula for the circumference of a circle? Well, if we take a look here, it says circumference equals pi times the diameter, or circumference equals 2 pi times the radius. Okay, now think about why this one here is just d and this one here is 2r. Well, if you think about that, let's just say the diameter was 12, so it'd be pi times 12. Well, if I want to figure out what the circumference is with that number here, well, what is half of 12. Half of 12 is 6. So if I go 2 times the radius, which was 6, that gets me back up to my 12 also, and then multiply that times pi. Now, we are going to use 3.14 for pi. We are not going to use calculator pi, okay? 3.1459 and goes on forever, okay? We are just going to use 3.14, okay, as our pi. That's just going to make life a lot easier here. So it says, the ratio of the circumference to the diameter is equal to 3.1415926. That's pi, okay? Which represents by the Greek letter pi. If we ever need to figure out what pi is, only thing you do is you take your circumference, divide it by the diameter, and that will equal your pi. It should be equal to 3.141592, and it goes on forever. You could also do it as pi is equal to the circumference divided by 2r, or 2 times the radius. That gives us pi also. So either way, that works out. Okay, let's continue on here. Let's see what else we have going on here. Okay, they have some examples here. It says, find the circumference of each circle. Okay, show your work and the formulas, round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so if we take a look here, as you see here, this line here is a diameter, okay? So that's our diameter there. Our diameter is 3. That means we go from this point on the edge through the center out to the other side of the edge, okay? So circumference equals pi times diameter. Well, only thing we're going to do it as is C equals pi times D. C equals 3 times pi. Now, if they ever say keep it in terms of pi, our answer would just be 3 pi. But if they want us to solve it, we would take 3 times 3.14, and that would give us our answer there, and we would round it to 9.4 inches, okay? Now remember, this is circumference. Our unit is not going to be squared because we're not dealing with the area. Okay, let's see what else we have here. We have here the 12 is the diameter. This is a diameter here. It goes from this edge in through the middle over to the other edge. Okay, so our formula is going to be C equals pi times diameter, which equals 12 times pi. Multiply your 12 times 3.14, which gives you your 37.68. We have to round that to the nearest tenth, which gives us 37.7 inches. There we go with that one there. Okay, take a look at this one here. As you notice, it goes from the center to an edge. Center to an edge, we're dealing with the radius here. Okay, the radius is 5.3. Okay, so circumference equals 2 pi r. That's the formula we're going to use. So 2 times 3.5 times pi. When you multiply all that out together, you get 33.284. We round that to the nearest tenth, we get 33.3 centimeters. Okay, let's move on to the next one here. We have a radius of 7.1 meters. So C equals 2 pi r, which equals 2 times 7.1, because that's our r, times pi. Multiply all that out. You get 44.588. Okay, we round that to the nearest tenth. It gives you 44.6 meters. And there we go. We've just found the circumference of each one of these circles. Okay, let's continue on down through here. Okay, use circumference to solve problems. Okay, so it says Bernard works at a community center that has a circular swimming pool with a circumference of 40 meters. So right there, we're given what the circumference is. He would like to use a rope to divide the pool down the center. Okay, what should the length of the rope be? Okay, so we know we are going all the way across. Since we're going all the way across from one edge point through the center to another edge point, we're dealing with our diameter. Okay, so the formula we're going to use, C equals pi times diameter. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we have here now. So we know what the C is. The C is 40. equals, we know what pi is, 3.14, and we know what the diameter is. Actually, I'm sorry, we do not know what the diameter is. That's what we're trying to figure out. So in order to get the d all by itself, I have to divide both sides by pi. Remember, pi is going to be 3.14. So it becomes d equals 40 divided by 3.14, which is going to be approximately, because we're going to round, 12.7. So what do we know here? We know that the rope is going to be 12.7 meters long. Very good. Okay, here we go now. A landscaper has a tree whose roots form a ball-shaped bulb with a circumference of 110 centimeters. What is the minimum diameter of the hole that the landscaper will have to dig in order to plant the tree? Round to the nearest inch. Remember, we're going to the nearest inch right now. Okay, so once again, we do know what the circumference is. The circumference is 110 inches. We are trying to figure out what the diameter, and we do know what pi is, 3.14. So if we take a look here, C equals pi times diameter. Okay, so circumference is 110. Pi we know is 3.14, and we're trying to figure out what the diameter is. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3.14. So 110 divided by 3.14 is approximately 35.03. Okay. Now, remember, we're dealing with a tree ball. Okay. I'm rounding it up to 36 inches because if I did 35, the tree ball will not fit. Okay, so that's why I rounded it up to 36 inches. So the diameter across must be 36 inches for that ball-shaped bulb to fit in that hole. Okay, guys, hopefully you understood everything that was going on today with circles and circumferences. Make sure you complete this homework on page 560 to 562, numbers 7 through 21, the odd, 24, 27, 30 through 33, all, and 35 through 47, the odd. If you have any questions, make sure you go back and rewatch the video. If you still have questions, make sure you email me and we'll clarify things for you. Other than that, guys, have a great day. Have fun. Take care. Bye-bye.